All right, what's good, y'all? We are back. All right, what's good, y'all? We are back with another video. Today's video is actually going to be about taking a gap year, whether that's right for you or not. Today we have my friend Cayla Hill, at Cayla Hill with 2 A's. So let's get into it. So, as I mentioned earlier, this is my friend Cayla. We've been friends for a little over 2 years now. She is taking her gap year, so I'm gonna let her basically introduce herself a little bit.
Yeah, so what's up, I'm Cayla. I graduated high school with my associate's degree, so if I went to college directly after high school, that would have meant that I jumped into college as a junior. And I'm 18, so that just sounded a little frightening to me. I hadn't quite figured out what I wanted to major in. And so I just decided it was best to take some time off, figure myself out, especially with this pandemic going on. And so here we are.
All right, so let's get right into it. So the first question that I thought was relevant in talking about a gap year is, what is the purpose? Like, people who are considering taking it, why should they take a gap year?
Yeah, for sure. So for me, honestly, high school was pretty rigorous. The 2 last years more so than the 2 first years. My curriculum, I had to squeeze my first 2 years of college in with the last 2 years of my high school classes. So combining the both of those and doing it at the same time was like an overload for me, honestly. And I was studying all the time, like school was my main thing. And I'm a social butterfly. So that was honestly hard for me to lock down and not like go to as many events at my school and hang out with friends all the time because I just had to be so like nose deep in my school. Right. So having a year in between my college and my high school was really essential for me personally, just because I knew I didn't have the stamina to finish out my degree without a break successfully. Right. So honestly, like if I started my junior year this year, I would have been super underprepared. I would have been burnt out. And in the middle of COVID, like you have to almost do more work with your classes online. Like I just would not have had it in me. So,
all right, so you were basically talking a lot about how you needed time and you needed to develop it. So that's why you took your gap year. So what should people who are taking this gap year, what should they be doing to develop during this time?
Internships. And I do not say that lightly. Spend the time that you have off applying to literally wherever you want, okay? It could be Blue Cross, Blue Shield, it could be the Smithsonian. Like, apply to the most crazy places that you can think of, or the most ordinary places that you can think of, because having experience is so important on your resume, and while you have your time off, if you can build up some of that, it'll set you apart from a ton of other candidates if you're ever being, interviewed at future employers.
And on that note, I would definitely say, I know because I'm applying I'm not in a gap year, but even for college, like writing your personal statement ahead of time, getting your resume together and having people look at it is like super important because you're just going to use those for pretty much everything.
Exactly. So like, even like setting up your resume and making sure that's solid and like getting it reviewed by like professionals that use,
like online.
Exactly.
They're used to doing it.
Exactly. So just really get your like professional persona, I'd say, started, because it's kind of hard to do that while you're in school. So if you can put time and energy towards it, for sure do that. Also, one thing that you can do while you have time off is, well, not in the middle of the pandemic, but you can travel. If you're watching this and COVID isn't a thing.
Good luck with that.
But if it is a thing, you can work. There are a lot of ways you can work virtually, or you can do it with social distancing so that everyone's safe. But it's really good to just keep your mind busy, earn some money while you're at it. It's nice just to save for college. Even if your tuition is paid for, it's good to just save so you have spending money, or so you can have things to do and not feel so limited. A gap year is kind of all about the freedom. So just take advantage of all the freedom that you have and use it to set yourself up for your degree whenever you go back.
And I think on a personal note too, a lot of people that I knew that were straight into college were not mentally prepared, emotionally prepared. So I think taking some time, when you have a year, to do introspection and understand kind of what you want out of college, kind of just taking some time to revamp and really understand yourself, because college is pretty much, I mean, unless you go right in your area, it's like a new experience. Like nobody's gonna know you. You can be whoever you want to be. So just kind of redefining, you know, your values, what you want to do, who you want to be, I think can also be an important step to take during that transition gap year.
It is, and also while you have your gap year, read as much as possible. Like, read articles you think are fascinating, read books, read anything that's kind of your niche, because that will tailor to what degree you want to go into. Like, if you read about things that will educate you on your topic, for example, like for me, before my gap year, I was going to go into marketing. And now after I've done more reading and research and kind of understanding like the business world, my major is now finance. And that wouldn't have happened if I didn't read all of these business articles and really get to understand like, you know, the stock market and the economy and things that are really fascinating to me. So just read about everything that you think is interesting, just to make sure that like what field you're going into is fulfilling to you.
Okay, so you talked a lot about how a gap year can be used to make you a better applicant by doing internships, you know, discovering yourself and things like that. So do you feel like a gap year puts you behind in any type of way?
Yes, honestly. Like, that was the hardest part for me to get over in the beginning. It was really hard for me to halt like the rigor of classes and just kind of like embark on this new journey of nothingness, just because I was like, well, I'm gonna fill it with things that are useful, but I'm not going to school. And at this point, I was so used to the rigor, it was all that I knew. So like, it's just hard to not compare yourself to other people, and you just have to remind yourself that every story is so different and everyone needs different things, and there's no wrong answer to whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And for me, like, my mom and my siblings were super encouraging, and my friends parents were super encouraging, and I never heard any negativity about like taking a gap year is bad. There's nothing wrong, especially at how young all of us are, with taking a year to just figure yourself out, taking a year to have fun before you buckle down and go to school. Like, it doesn't put you behind as much as you feel like it does. Because in the beginning, I really thought I was behind. And now I'm like, wow, I can't imagine if I went to school, like that would have been miserable. I just had a whole year of fun and like experience that I wouldn't have had if I just slowed down and chilled.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, right out of college, you're gonna be going pretty much into the workforce or a graduate program. And to them, like, a year difference isn't, I mean, it really means nothing. If you're 23 or 24, 22, whatever you are, I don't think it's really a big proponent in getting to the next stage of your life.
Exactly. You know? What's more important is who you are holistically and who you are as a person. And I think if you take a year to understand yourself, that will blossom you into a whole new person than you would have been had you just rush off to school because society is telling you that that's normal.
Right.
So really pay attention to yourself and your gut, because everyone is different, and if you follow the main curve, then that could put you like in your potential behind, just because it isn't what you needed, you know? So yeah, I just think everyone's different, but there is no wrong answer.
Definitely.
You know, life's not a race. You don't have to rush to be in the workforce and meet these dates.
Life's not a race. That's like a good quote.
Nice.
For this, like the general of this video, life is not a race. You got to do everything at your own pace.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so I guess last but not least, do you have any general recommendations or tips, things you'd recommend for people considering taking this gap year?
I do. If you're looking for internships, the programs that I used for my school was called Handshake. And it was really helpful just because you get to see all these different internship opportunities without having to search for specific ones. So for me, it was easy because I just like had a whole profile set up. And so to submit an application, all I had to do was literally click submit and then like fill out minor details on each company's website. But it was so easy because it was all together and like in one space. So use Handshake if that's available to you. Also, I would say just like getting outside and having time to be active or finding your outlet, whatever that is. Like, I love painting and I love skating. So if there was ever times where I felt like emotional because my friends were gone, or like I didn't have as much communication with them as I did when they were home, if I would get out and put my energy into something, I would feel so much better. And also just reach out to your friends and text them, call them. Like, I do that with mine all the time, just because you never know, like, when someone honestly needs to talk to you. Another tip I have for the gap year, is use this time to learn something fun. Like, yes, you can set yourself up for the future in ways that are helpful, but also, like, have fun too. Like, I started learning to play guitar, and I'm not great, but it's so fun. Like, I just really love instruments, so, like, learn a new instrument. Like, learn to bake something cool. Like, cool. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope I was of some help to you. If you have any questions, feel free to, like, DM me on my Instagram. I'm more than happy to talk to you guys and just kind of, like, let you know more of my experience if you have any specific questions. That's pretty much all I got. Now I'm gonna beat Josh in Mario Kart.
Stop the cap.
Cap. We're definitely gonna, you know what we're gonna
It's
do?
not cap.
We're gonna
It's
do
not
this.
cap.
What we're gonna do? We're gonna put at the end. We're about to play now. So what we'll do is I'll record
Okay.
after I beat you, and then we'll just put the score
Okay, that's not
at the end of this video. By the way, I play Diddy Kong, so when you see that at number 1, you already know what's up.
Nah. You'll see. The results will show for themselves.
They'll see.
Yeah.
They already
yeah.
know. You already know your boy is number 1 every time. But thank you guys for watching. If you like the content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. See y'all next time. All right. All right, disclaimer real quick. So whenever I play Mario Kart, I play with a nunchuck, which Cayla knows, and she usually has. But for some reason, she was missing it this time, so I had to play without it. Yeah, so just keep that in mind. I'm just letting y'all know. All right. This.
Oh,
Huh?
I got first place. Hi everyone, I'm Cayla, and I won.
Look,
But Josh is just salty because he didn't think that I was that
I
good.
really want to. You know, I don't have the nunchuck, and that's what I use.
He
She already
lost.
knows this, and she almost lost.
I won. I didn't almost lose, actually. I beat you probably by what, like 14 points?
No, definitely not much.
Yeah, 14 points.
We can run it back.
If you kept my win on the screen for longer, we could have compared.
We
but
can run it back.
he was quick to exit out of it. I think we all know
We
why.
can run it back. You know I beat you every time we have the nunchuck.
Cap.
You already know that.
Cap.
I literally don't lose.
Cap.
I literally do not lose.
Cap.
I literally don't lose.
Cap.